And we're live.
How on earth eating bologna naked on these Murphy beds where I signed hundreds of books, but I don't know what's funnier, the nakedness, the bologna, or how I even managed to find these Murphy beds. See, you guys, we checked into this hotel, not into this room. And when my husband opened the door, he walked in on a sleeping family. The key worked, and the guy came out of there.
And his whole family's in there in bed.
And they said, well, you know, we have the corporate room, but it only has Murphy beds. And I'm like, Murphy beds? And gold and teal carpet, too. And so we launched the book. I had a goal of 1,000 sales on day one. But then I said, gosh, if we sell 1,500, we'll get Brenda Kerr on here to tell her story about eating bologna naked. We got to 1,000 sales, and I didn't imagine we were going to hit 1,500, but we did. And so if you ever wondered how we ended up eating bologna naked, you can thank one of those 1,501 people who bought a book on March 8th.
And thank you to the sponsors of this video, those 1,501 people. And we have arrived ready. Bologna, the nakedness. We are here, but we are missing one key person, and that is Virginia seems to be a little late. But we also have some background noise going in here. Are we okay? Is it me? Can you hear me? Make a comment and leave a comment. But you know, we got a lot going on. And so
Brenda is late today. I think Brenda's late. Yeah.
She's usually here. I know, you know, Brenda's like an institution and the project hubs and all that. So I didn't expect Brenda to be late, but in fact, but let me just say, so we're going to be eating bologna naked, but in the world of like, that's no bologna. I want you guys to know that 6 years ago, I weighed 280 pounds. I was limping around my house, and my life has completely changed. No bologna. It's the naked facts. Let's do a quick round robin on how much your life has changed. Anasul.
I used to not be able to go 2 hours without a meal without feeling shaky, and now I have the ultimate flexibility. I can eat when I have a good meal. I can wait if there's not one available. I don't feel panicky anymore. And I don't mind, you know, showing my shoulders. So
Apparently that's the naked truth from Anasul.
No baloney.
Jen, how about you?
Oh man, so many things have changed. I can walk across the street to see my parents and I'm not out of breath, climb the stairs, and I don't feel like I need to breathe for 5 minutes before I sit and chat with them. I can get into our big soaker tub and not feel like I'm being squished like this. I can just relax. I can do the chores around the house without paying for it for several days. So yeah, lots of no baloney over here.
The only baloney here today is this right here. And we're about to learn Brenda's extra special approach to eating it naked. So, and a special shout out to Judy. As you guys might notice, Judy actually has clothes on. And so I'm going to ask Judy how her life has changed, but also, come on, Judy, did you not get the memo about the clothing?
I don't want to see my own self naked, let alone the rest of you. My life is a whole lot easier, just needing to plan one meal a day, and I look forward to it. But no, I've been sick, so I needed to keep my clothes on.
Yeah,
that's a snuffleupagus. Look who's there.
Ellen made it.
Ellen.
Ellen, you look a little cold. How you doing?
I turned the heat up, but I'm still a little cold. I guess Virginia told you that we were on half an hour early in the wrong place.
We got on the wrong spot.
We got on the hubs, and so yeah, and then I couldn't find this, and so I finally found it.
Yeah.
So that's no baloney.
What did you do? Google naked women?
Yes, that's what I did.
Okay.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No. And guess what? I can stand up on a stand-up paddleboard, and that's no baloney.
Wow.
It's the naked truth.
That's amazing. That's great. That's amazing.
I
And
can't do it for very long, but I can do it.
Is that on water?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Now
I
I'm
haven't.
really impressed.
Thank you. Thank you.
and Virginia, how about your report this morning?
Yeah, well, I hiked up this steep hill by my house, really, really steep. And I couldn't have done that without Eat Like a Bear. And the other thing is that I have lost the most weight up here. I am free of food obsessive thoughts like I've never had in my life before, ever. And it's absolutely no baloney. It's amazing.
Amazing. That's wonderful, Virginia. Now I'm just scrolling down to see who, okay, you guys, you know what? Brenda has made it into our back page,
Good.
but I'm going to just give me a minute here. I don't see her, but I see her chair. So let's get the chair up here, but I'm ready. See that? See that?
We're gonna eat like a bear.
Yes. That's what we're doing today. So here we come with, here's, see Brenda's chair.
Brenda's chair. I always
Is
see her.
bear.
She's probably getting naked.
Wait.
Wait. What's going on, Brenda?
No, the bologna's naked, not us. See?
What?
I was frying naked bologna.
No way.
I meant no bread, no condiments, just the naked truth.
Oh,
Talk
now
about a misunderstanding.
I'm feeling kind of naked.
Me too.
Oh no.
A little exposed over here.
Yes.
So Anna, you just ran Anna off. She just,
Uh-oh. She ran away.
She's like, oh, well, maybe that's not the naked truth.
There's Anna back.
I thought she went to get her baloney.
Yeah.
Naked bologna fried.
I get it now. Oh,
We were talking
Really?
on the live about comfort foods that we love. And my grandfather used to make homemade bologna. And, and they said, well, bologna makes you want bread. But then I used to eat bologna naked. And then everybody started talking about being naked with their bologna eating. And I was like, no. So I ate the bologna naked, not me.
we're so literal here in the Bear family.
Well, apparently you can do it both ways. Look at Amanda.
No, it's true because it was a live video. So we had to investigate this. It was back in January. You had to even figure out when this happened, when the bologna story started. Because it's been our total joke about Brenda eating naked bologna naked. And so we went back and looked, and it was a big discussion about comfort eating. And I was bringing up the point about in the wildfire evacuation from September of 2021 that I had a little bologna sandwich story from that. And then that spurred all of this. So Brenda, you guys, I went back to it and I found, I pieced it down. It was like an hour and 20 minutes to 4 minutes. And so I just thought I'd play it real quick because it's kind of funny and some of the references. So you guys, everyone out there can see how all this started. So I'm going to add it and we'll just take a few minutes and recover, maybe get dressed. It's getting kind of cold. Getting kind of cold.
Those are some of the tools
Oh, wait.
you need to have in.
Okay.
Those are some of the tools you need to have in your toolkit to win those arguments. So, okay. Brenda ate her bologna sandwich naked as a kid. Okay. But is it a donut? No, it's not. But it is part of the package of my new life, and it is good. And so focusing on that rather than wallowing, we all do it. Okay. That's the winning strategy, by the way. It's not always easy, but that is the winning strategy. go do other things. Like I ate and I'm done. And now I'm moving off into other aspects of my life. Yeah. Sorry. Kimberly, because Brenda posted that she ate. She says, this is, okay, here we go. Brenda says, I ate my fried bologna naked as a kid. Okay. Okay. Then she clarified, are you ready? I meant the bologna was naked, not me. Here, come over and say hi. So she, again, there's only one person who claimed in this live to even have makeup on. So look at how great Kimberly looks without makeup. Just look, come on.
Hello.
Come on. I don't know. I wonder if so like people are, thanking Brenda for the clarification. I don't know. I just feel like that's just going to be a joke for a long time, Brenda. I'm sorry. Yes, the joke. It's like when, living in a small little community, when something happens and then it becomes like the rumor and it lasts for 30 years. I just feel like we're in a moment right now with the bologna. Okay. Oh, yeah. So eating bologna naked is the new trend in the den. I just feel like if there is a way we could turn that into a YouTube series somehow. I mean, we can't be naked on YouTube. I mean, none of us. I mean, God bless you if you're that brave. I'm not that brave, but how could it get like launched somehow into a series? Oh my gosh. Oh, you guys. Okay. Headed out to the hammock to eat my salad right now. No, I'm not. Oh, okay. So you guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to head into the project hub. And so all of you who have projects, go right into the project hub. Those of you who don't have projects also need to go into the project hub and say hi. And you can see that the definition of a project is really, there is no definition. And so if you just want to show up and say, I'm about to go over and wash dishes, that's okay. Because we all have something, right, to do. And you can go in and just say hi to everybody. And I don't think there's any naked bologna eating in the project hub. If there were, maybe not on camera, but you never know. You never know what you're going to miss in the project hub. So you're going to have to go. You are going to have to go. Okay, I'm sorry. Bologna bikinis. And that's some phony bologna. Shout out to Debbie in upstate New York. Anyway, you guys, this is what a fun little thing. And we have a lot more we want to talk to you about this morning. So I hope that you didn't expect the rest of the time here to really be a bunch of naked ladies. Maybe you did. Maybe you did. Who knows? Leave a comment. Maybe you're a new audience member with expectations. We would be interested. That's kind of funny. Well, oh, and so that was a commercial from our Project Hub as well. So we have the April Accelerator that's about to launch, and I promise I'm going to get details out about that. But what we're talking about yesterday or the day before, it was the day before, in our Project Hub is how, if people knew about like the little quaintness that is our Project Hubs, that we have more people in there joining them. And so a little shout out for that. So part of the April Accelerator, you got to come to the Project Hubs. They're just hanging out. And if nothing else happens, your house could get a little bit cleaner. It's just like show up and be connected. And that's what that is. Let's take a minute, because I want to get to our other background topic, but let's take a minute, a little shout out to just like the importance of connection in all this. And so let's start with our guest of honor, Brenda, on the importance of connection. Go ahead, Brenda.
Well, I think of the weekly, the days of the week as my hub days, as my touchstone, because I look forward to them, and it keeps me from, even if I have a day where I might lose my focus and, I don't know, eat one of the chips, then I can say that on the hub, and they'll all be like, okay, you got this. We can get past this. And so you don't spiral, because before I had a touchstone, I noticed I would spiral, because it's like you'd feel bad about the fact that you cheated, and then you would just disappear for a while because you didn't want to face the fact that you didn't keep your bootstraps up. Now I know that, if I let go of the bootstraps once, it's not going to take me a few minutes to pull them back up. And we all have those times when we lose our hold on our bootstraps, and if you just let them fall off and disappear, then you're gonna gain all your weight back. But if you just go, oops, my bad, pull them back up and come into the hub and say hi, then you're back on track, right like that, right back.
And the key to that always is like, it's always going to happen. And so how can we get to a place where the time between them falling and us pulling them back up is less than it was last time? And so that's kind of the whole mindset. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Jen, how about you?
Well, I mean, quite frankly, this morning I didn't think I was going to join, just simply because I was feeling kind of off, just not really depressed, but just not up, and didn't want to be a downer. But quite frankly, you join a group like this, and those days when you're just not really feeling it, you join in, you get a laugh. I figured if nothing else, I would come out feeling a little bit better than when I joined. So that's kind of in a nutshell what I feel like we get as part of the den, is when we need that little encouragement or the support, because we all have those days. It doesn't matter, where we are in our journey. There's just going to be days where there may not be one thing that made you feel depressed or frustrated. It may not be some catastrophic event. It could just be a down day. And that's okay. We all have them. And, we can use this time to just kind of support each other and smile and get some laughs. I mean, I remember the day that we had that live, and I sat here in my office laughing and just having a good time. And, laughter is great medicine. So yeah, that's, I think, the biggest thing with the hubs and just with the deep den in general, is feeling like, there's going to be somebody that understands how I'm feeling. And so I can chat about those things and not feel like I'm not being heard or understood. So that's a big deal.
Thank you, Jen. And Virginia, how about you and the connection?
Yeah, so I've been doing this for almost 3 years. It'll be in May, it'll be 3 years. And the first year I was in lockdown, so I had no problem whatsoever. And then I started, experimenting with getting out in the world again, and that was my downfall. So probably for the last year, I've been like, I had this visual of, when the bear comes out of the den and stretches way up the tree with his giant claws and leaves these marks that just giant claw marks on the tree. That's how the last year felt. Like I was clawing my way out of problems again that I had not experienced that first year. Like that first year was like, I never thought of food. It was just like not in my mind. It was gone. It was like, I remember reflecting on that freedom of like, I don't have to think about this. It's like it was gone. And then the last year, a little more than a year, my husband has needed more care, and I've been really thrust into a role of caregiver. And so it was quite depressing, to realize what your days are like now and how hard things can be, and to try to stay positive for him. But, you kind of start to lose yourself a little in there. And when the opportunity came for me to join the Den, I wasn't sure I wanted to because I had so many other things going on, and I just thought, I don't know, but I gave it a try. And I will tell you that it's been almost a month of really good progress. I mean, slow, which is what I do, but good progress. And the obsession is gone again. And I attribute it completely to being able to come into the Den and, like Jen said, have a laugh and share what's going on in your life. And kind of, Brenda's called it a touchstone. It certainly is for me, a place to just come in and go, okay, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to touch base with all these people. I'm going to get something done. I've done everything from exercise to cleaning to artwork during those project hubs. And it doesn't really matter, and I come in I literally come with my pajamas and my bed hair, and it doesn't matter. Nobody cares, And so for me, this has been, I keep seeing the word engage in all your writings and on the project hubs and in your books, and that word engage just jumps out to me. And I realize that when I struggle, I absolutely disengage. I remove myself from the support and the help in a time when I need it the most. And so for me, that's what this has been a way for me to like re-engage with my peeps, and get back in the swing again. And so, my husband understands I'm going to be in the other room for these because it means a lot to me and it really helps, and that's all he needs to know, is that it helps me do what I do. So I really appreciate it. Amanda, you don't even know sometimes, I think, how many people's lives you've affected bringing this. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Virginia. Thank you. And Judy, on connection.
Connection is very important to me. I've been in and out of Eat Like a Bear. I can't even remember the first time that I started on it, but this has made the difference of being able to put a face and a voice to a name, because it makes my being more accountable it makes it a bigger thing. And I'm not only concerned about weight, but I'm concerned about what's going on in your life. Amanda, I've been worried about all those all of those wonderful books that you had to sign. And I know that there are still boxes and boxes of books somewhere. I'm one of those and I'm thinking, she can't even get home right now, but she's got boxes of books. Are they getting wet? Yeah. It gives me something to think about other than myself. And I've been sick the last week. Everybody on here knows that. And this group has been caring for me just by caring for me. And so now I feel like I can kind of turn loose of my bootstraps and reach out and grab a hand. And maybe that's pulling somebody else up a little bit, or somebody else pulling me up a little bit. So connection is very, very important.
Sorry, I'm a terrible moderator because I'm already forgetting who all has. Ellen, go ahead.
The Deep Den, formerly known as Engaged, has been phenomenal for me. I several years ago, my youngest was I had lost a bunch of weight. My youngest was in the hospital. They did a surgery. She was paralyzed. I went crazy stress eating. I gained 40 or 50 pounds of I think it was 80 I'd lost at the time. And I didn't have anybody. I had the food, and then I was with her for 2 weeks in intensive care while her head was screwed to a halo and she had no motion in her body. And all I did was eat. Now, this past January, well, it's Thanksgiving, that same daughter announced she was getting married in January. Well, the thing is, okay, I'm sorry, 2 weeks in the ICU, they were able to get her back fixed. She was no longer paralyzed, but I continued to eat for a year. I wasn't able to stop. I didn't have any breaks, and I didn't have anybody to go to because I don't reach out. And when I found Eat Like a Bear, it made all the difference in the world, because if I have a slip, if I have stress, or if I stress eat, I don't have to put on 50 pounds. I can reach out. And that happened because at Thanksgiving, the same daughter announced she's getting married in January. And, oh yes, Mom, will you make me this cape, and will you do the flowers, and will you help me decorate the venue? And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I was already a member of the Deep Den, and I was able to say, you guys, I need help. I'm sleeping and sliding. I'm really having a tough time here. And I've been able to, for the most part, maintain the weight loss and get on track and get back on track. And I'm okay as long as I'm home, but we're getting ready to go down to see this same daughter because it's match week in the medical student world. And she's going to find out where she's going to be for the next 4 years of her residency program. And I'll be out of my element, so I'm going to really need the den. I'm going to really need to post because I want to get through this without going off the deep end and getting lost in food again. That's not where I want to be. And the den, being engaged in the Deep Den has made all the difference in the world for me. It's given me hope that I didn't have before. So sorry, I tried to make that short, but it's, I feel strongly.
Well, Ellen, yeah, and thank you for that, Ellen, too, because I think just this recognizing like it's coming and I need to shore things up is something I never used to do. And so you just kind of, move into that big event or crisis or whatever it is. And then you just disconnect from the food because, it's painful, somewhere just from life experience, you're about to gain weight and it feels out of control. And so you just cut off the thinking. Well, when you cut off the thinking about eating, you're then I could gain a pound a day easily.
At least.
Easily. Yeah, no, exactly. And so if I'm not watching it, I'd be up like all, just no, just let go, let loose, easily a pound a day. Yeah. And so I think anybody out there, so we have the Deep Den, but everybody just, even without the Deep Den, to just take some time to recognize that a big problem with like the yo-yo dieting is exactly this point, that we lose the weight, but then something happens and we disengage our brain from it. I have something on the website called the red dot. I think if you Googled Eat Like a Bear and red dot, you would find this in a graphic that kind of explains it in what I think is an interesting way. You guys tell me if it's interesting. But Anna, do you have something as well as about connection?
Yeah, really, we all have good days and we all have bad days. And we have confusing days and days where we forget about all of the things that we have accomplished. And when you're with a group of people, and I'm an introvert mostly, so this is kind of amazing to me. But when you're with a group of people, there's always somebody to help you up. But not only that, you feel better when you have something to offer to somebody else. So it's just that it's stronger because there's more of us and we can connect and we can kind of have accountability, just to know, oh, at this time on this day, I'm going to be seeing these people and I'm going to see how they're doing. And I'm going to tell them what I'm doing. And I want it to be good. And just that little bit. I mean, community is really, really important. If we're using food because we're lonely or because we're confused or angry or whatever, if we're using it for that rather than what food is for, we have to have something to replace it with, and we have to learn about that. And all of these people, all of these wonderful bears, we all have experience, and we can help each other. Yeah.
Well, so what we've been talking about this week is, and I'll just mention this to speak it out loud. So I am evacuated right now from floods in California. So I'm not at home. You might wonder, like, what's that white wall behind me? You usually have like a granite or a quartz fireplace behind me, stuff like that. And the flooding, all the stuff that's making the national news, that is where I live. And our house, our property is okay because we're at a house. It's literally called Hilltop House. It is high ground. And it's not washing away this week. There's no threat of that at all. The threat is to the people on the creeks and rivers that are seeing unbelievable amounts of water flow. And then anyone near like springs and stuff like that, it's unbelievable. And so this is kind of the aftermath of the Windy Fire of the fall of 2021. So in the Giant Sequoia National Monument, the Windy Fire just burned through the higher elevations to such a degree that, I mean, it even burned up specimen giant sequoia trees, and they've lived for 2,000 years and through all kinds of fires, but not through the Windy Fire. And I'd never before in my life seen a burned giant sequoia, and much less a grove full. And to see like these giant skeletons is just like nothing I was prepared for. And so so interestingly, for this whole story we're talking about today and the whole need to stay connected, it was that fire I evacuated on September 23rd of 2021. And then and was gone for a month, I think. And then it was in late October or early November that I got up and saw some of the damage. And then it was a live video in our little, what we now call the deep den at that time. And I just broke down and started crying. So that's what some of y'all are referring to is that, like, that moment. Cause it was terrible. And that's where the red dot and stuff like that comes from, because I as I was like in charge of the community, and in the middle of this crisis, like, what do you do? And so I leaned in. And honestly, I really hadn't thought about the importance of that, of like, when things are hard, that's when you need to lean in more, and you may not lose weight. I'll tell you what, like, stress hormones and stuff like that really do a number. But I'll tell you, like, that's why we gain so much weight in those stressful times, is because of those hormones. And so, but the leaning in keeps your brain engaged with the goal itself. And so that's what I did. So this is now a year and a half out from that. And all of that first year, we had, goals and projects, and I did amazing things on my property. And that was all me leaning in and like trying to like have, it was like trying to see what was still there. And we still had 5 acres there. Our property was not burned. My son ended up actually building a hiking trail for me on the property, which is amazing. And so we have all that good coming out of the fire. But what's happened this week in the flooding is it's like it's the reboot, because it's potential mudslides from the fire. And it's on social media. I guess I'll say it. And I put a link yesterday while I still was not overly emotional about this. I'm trying to be okay with what I'm about to tell you. But because sometimes it's like the smaller things that you lose that you didn't think you were going to lose. And so there is a lodge up on the higher elevations above us, and it's called the Ponderosa Lodge, a community called Ponderosa, which is tiny, tiny, tiny.
and really just has this lodge and maybe a real estate office or something. And that was the burger place. And it like the look of it, really cool rustic lodge, historic. And it survived the Castle Fire of 2020 that came up on its east side and burned through the Freeman Grove of giant sequoias, its own devastation. But Ponderosa survived and the lodge survived. And then in the Windy Fire, assaulting Ponderosa again, the fire came right up to the south side and to the west side. And so that lodge and the little community survived 2 massive wildfires that burned through, again, various groves. I mean, the grove damage was very, very bad and completely heartbreaking. And that's why I broke down on that live video in November of 2021. But what happened was it Friday afternoon? I've lost touch now, but in the previous wave of storms, Friday afternoon, Ponderosa as a community has been blocked off from the rest of the world because of the road conditions. And they got warning about that and said, hey, if you're going to, please leave now, because we know we're not going to be able to keep these roads clear. Or if you're staying, you're going to shelter in place. So they knew it would be difficult to get through given the storms and what they projected with like the mudslides and stuff. And so some people stayed and some people went. But the thing is, it's a tiny little community. And so like the fire response, for instance, would come from lower elevations and go up there. And so on Friday afternoon, there was, in the storm, there was some snow melt and some ice melt because huge amounts of snow. And so it sounds like what they think happened at this point is that a big block of ice melted off the roof and fell down and hit a propane line. And that started a fire. Now, the lodge was entombed in snow. It's really shocking, entombed in snow. And you guys can find photos because you can find the GoFundMe link in this video. You'll see it's truly shocking. This lodge inside the snow, completely engulfed in flames. And so the fire response, they tried to respond, but they couldn't get through. They, tried, they knew they couldn't get through because it was blocked. But I even wonder what could they have done had they gotten there, because it is like you'll see it. It's like nothing you could ever imagine. And so the idea that this property got through those 2 fires only to be completely burned down, completely, it's an absolutely complete loss in the snow is. And so so yesterday, another round of storms was coming. And so I wondered, do we do this live video today? Because it felt like somewhat irreverent. What's going to happen Tuesday and Wednesday of this week? They forecast 4 to 6 inches of rain, which is absolutely flippin' unbelievable amounts of rain, and snow melt. And on these waterways that were already completely stressed, houses are falling into the rivers, by the way. So that is happening. But then the question is how many houses in like lives with mudslides. And so it's been kind of stressful. I've been keeping an eye, but also I want to say I'm trying to lean in, and that's what we're doing today in this video and showing up here naked. Okay. And so don't take my live video as irreverence to the flooding as much as it is a response to the flooding in sometimes the only way you can respond. Because I'm 5 hours from home right now. We can't get back right now. I think we'll be back in a couple of days, especially since the current storm doesn't seem to be as bad. But, and Virginia, thank you. And that is the graphic about the red dot. And so, okay, so now I feel like I'm babbling, but I want to say that lean in hard times. And you know what else? Don't feel ashamed. Like, no, I'm really interested if you guys have ideas on how as a community we can work on changing the culture that is so deep within all of us to feel this shame when these things happen and we gain the weight. And so we close off even more. And that's where the 100, 200 pounds comes from. What if we're like, oh, look, 10, 20, 50, whatever it is. But we then go like, I'm leaning in because I recognize this and I need to lean in. And no one should feel shame that they gained weight back. I mean, if we're not like the experts in the entire Milky Way universe on this topic, I don't know who is. And it's our own like individual shame, I think, that is probably our biggest barrier, because it's from that point of shame that we close off, you know, our long-term goals, because that's the way we feel like it's how we're going to get through today, is closing that off because of the shame. Don't feel shame here in this community. Never feel shame. Never feel shame for any of this, and come and get help. You know, lean in. So I didn't even cry through that.
Yay!
So
but I did.
We're people. We're human beings, and this is part of the process, the experience of being a human. We learn things not by doing everything right. We learn things by finding, you know, cause and effect. And I just want to say, you all inspire me when I hear, like, you know, Brenda, you didn't walk, and now you're out there pushing the lawnmower. And I don't know, on a bad day, thinking about what I've done in the past and thinking and seeing what you guys are doing, it makes me feel better, and it makes me want to get out there. And I will say that some of the times on those Project Hubs, you've seen me, I took my phone with me on the Zoom, and I went and took a walk. And I don't always like going out there where other people are, but I also feel funny doing it by myself. And going for a walk with you all was perfect. It really was. It was good support. So thank you for that.
Virginia.
Yeah. You know, it's funny when you said the name of your house. So you all know that the Hilltop House is an historical home, or was, that was at the top of the hill. Okay, like serendipity, I guess, or whatever. Um, the Hilltop House was the house at the top of the hill that I always wanted to climb and couldn't do it. And then I finally did, and you probably saw my pictures on the Facebook page. And so for your house to be Hilltop House, because you know I'm coming eventually, I'm not sure when, but that's my next goal. And so it's kind of interesting that they're both Hilltop House, and you know, I can't wait to do that. And I think having those things that you are looking forward to, or that are your, like you call them, the big why, you know, why am I doing this? And I think the other thing that is hard to remember when you're struggling is just what you said, is that it's the leaning in that keeps the struggle at bay. As you know, veteran weight losers and gainers, we've all had this experience. And I know enough now to know that this is the only thing that's going to help me live a healthy life. Like, I can't go back and try any of the brand name weight loss plans. I can't do that anymore. This works for me. It works when I work it, as they say. And I have, like I said, the freedom from the obsession and the food thoughts, and like, what am I going to eat thing is just gone. But it's work, you know, it is. I always have to think about it in terms of like, how am I going to structure my day so that I don't have those kinds of thoughts rambling in my head. And it's called being busy. I mean, that's just, for me, that's what I have to do. And so I make lists of things I need to get done, and I have projects and things, and there's always something, you know, I can paint, if nothing else. But it's just remembering that we have these things here in this den to help us continue on this path for life, because that's what it is. It's a life path. And you know, there is no other way to think about it. And you know, I've seen people ask this question on Facebook, like, am I going to have to do this the rest of my life? And I say, I get to do this the rest of my life. I get to do this. So I'm very happy. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, Brenda. Yeah, I turned off Brenda's. Okay,
I was just going to say that, you know, for me, I don't look at doing this for the rest of my life as anything of a burden, because I'm going to be doing activities for the rest of my life. I'm going to be going and be awesome for the rest of my life. So, yeah, I mean, now my whole mindset is not on what I'm going to eat, but it's like, oh, what can I do today that I can post about? What can I do today that's going to lift somebody up? What can I do today to, you know, make my brothers and sisters, beggars proud of me? And, you know, I was so excited to be out there mowing that lawn because, you know, I just knew that it was like something I could post that y'all could see that I have actually got out of my house, out of my bed, and I'm out there. And then, you know, I took y'all with me when I went to the zoo. And I can't wait. I'm trying to talk Sharon into going roller skating with me. So y'all can just really laugh on that one. So I'm sure
we will require videos.
I'm gonna be finding enough things for videos for y'all to laugh your butts off.
I could lose some back there. That would be all right.
As long as we don't have to see you doing them naked.
She'll have on her bologna bikini. Her bologna bikinis.
I had to get us back to point, gang.
When I was 125 pounds, I wouldn't wear a bikini. I have never been comfortable showing that much skin.
Me neither. Bologna
We'll
or
need
not.
more magazines and books to cover ourselves up.
Oh, which totally reminds me, I also promised I would tell my nude sunbathing story. So let me just so that I can like get all the promises out there. So my nude sunbathing story. So a week ago in the live video, I said, hey, if we hit 1,500 sales, that Brenda would show us how to eat bologna naked. And I would tell my story about sunbathing nude on the roof. And so real quick. So we have this hilltop house and it has a flat roof. It's 2 stories with a flat roof, really sunbathing worthy. Cause you know, you can get up there, you're at the top of the world, like no one sees you or whatever. So it was maybe about 5 years ago. And, oh, Melita. So this is, yes, you missed the naked bologna and you're going to have to, when this hits the replay, you're going to have to go back and watch. Cause no, I'm still naked, but some of us are getting cold around here. But anyway, you've caught it just in time for the nude sunbathing story. So imagine the roof. And my kids were asking, I don't even know how it came up, but this is like 5 years ago. And so I would say at that time, my kids were like 9 and 15 and asking somehow about all this. And I said, oh, yes, I used to sunbathe naked when I was like 18 or 20, something like that. And that's true. And but the part of the story that really is memorable is they're like, really, you did that, Mom? You were up, you know, sunbathing naked, you know? So they were a little bit horrified. And so sometimes in moments like this, I feel like it's important to like double down. And so I said, yeah, you guys, you know what's kind of funny about that? So because we have Edwards Air Force base east of us. Those planes don't fly over the house, by the way. They go into the higher elevation areas where there's no populations, but conceivably they could easily fly over our house. So that makes for a great story. So given that little bit of background and the kids like, you were sunbathing naked, and me wanting to turn it into an even better story, I said, well, yeah, you know what's kind of funny about that is that the flight patterns from the Air Force Base changed in that time. And they started doing practice flights right over the house. The kids were horrified, completely horrified. Anywho, but here's, so Melita, yeah, you're going to have to go back to the beginning, girl. Okay. You guys, so Brenda's mowing the lawn. Brenda's point about like this whole, we get this all the time, especially in the main stories group, this idea that, oh dear God, I can't keep eating like this. Well, okay, that's, keep eating however you're going to eat, but let's look at the whole package of all this stuff. And this is a big theme in the psychology content. So like the people in the den know this. I talk about this all the time, but like weighing the costs of these decisions, we just tend to focus on the benefits of that momentary pleasure of the donut. Whereas if we looked at the cost of the donut and we really stepped back and looked at like, what is this robbing us of? That donut just doesn't seem as appealing if you really systematically look through the cost and weigh all the costs. And, for a lot of us who ended up at high points on the scale, and I was at 280, we have community members far higher than that with more physical limitations because of it. Those are all the costs of many multiple donuts. I mean, obviously. And so you have to look at like, if wherever your weight is, if you're good and you're out and living how you want to live, good. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. But if you feel like the weight is keeping you from doing something that you want to do, that's when you really need to like dig in and start weighing these costs. And so it's a process. It's not easy because that donut is all over and it's always there. And the payoff of it is immediate. The payoff for any kind of major life change, I mean, these things take like, some of these is going to take months, a year, 2 years. And so what we need to do is we really need to look way into the future at what we're going to be doing and like stay focused on that, because that is how we are going to be able to get there. Okay. And then, so don't come into the group and say, well, I can't keep eating like this. That's fine. That's your own decision. And like, I respect like however it is you're eating to work it out. But if you're not able to live the life that you want, I really challenge everybody to look at that, what it is that you're eating, and ask yourself like deeply, is it actually worth it? Because I'll tell you what I eat, it's delicious. It's delicious. And the fact that it has gotten me to this point where I can live life as I have never really been able to live before, then it's extra delicious, extra delicious. But I want to give, just scrolling quickly, I want to now take a time. Let's see, it's 53 minutes of the hour, because I have we're going to have another live video, and it's either going to be in 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now. Because what we're going to have is a lot of like big goal material as we move in towards our April. Like, this is the problem, like these months, well, like we're still in March, we're doing our big, march into the zone in the deep den. But as we look at the April accelerator, the big thing that I want people to start doing is like big goal types of content. That is Brenda's lawnmower. That's like Brenda, the examples of going to the zoo, these kinds of things. The big goal is not how many pounds you're losing. It's not like I'm going to be a size 6. It is what you will be doing in your new life. And the next live video, I will be at a very special location that and I'm going to ask everybody, like as a community, like as people roll into the community and find us, I always say that, like, what will you be doing in 1 year from now? But I'm going to ask everybody to have a goal for themselves for 1 year. Like, we're all going to do 1 year together is what we're going to do. And I'm going to launch that from a very special location. And I have a number of related announcements, related to that. And I'm really excited about it because, frankly, in my own life, with the flooding, with the fires, I need to look to 1 year, 2 years ahead. And so I'm excited for this opportunity because I think what was unsaid earlier when I didn't cry or whatever else is I got through all that without gaining 200 pounds, which could have come like this, because of this community, because of leaning in, and because of trying to stay focused on a positive future, which is really, really hard when your whole forest is burned down and now is flooded out. All the rivers, all the creeks, they don't even look like themselves anymore. There's very little about my home, except the property that we have, that looks like itself. And that can be very devastating. So how do we shift to looking forward rather than looking around and backwards and thinking about all this stuff? We're going to do that together. We're going to do it either in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because I want to do it from that location, and I don't have my tickets yet. So I don't have my itinerary, so I'm not entirely sure, but it's going to be in either 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and we're going to be back here. And so, like, maybe Brady Bunch style, talking about the big goal and about each of us, like, challenging ourselves. I mean, so even people who are at their goal weight now, like, look to the future. What more will you be doing in a year from now? It's very exciting. And it's kind of our only play, you know, a lot of times. It kind of is. Okay, so that was just a little commercial for our video in 2 or 3 weeks from now. And that I know more is coming specifically on the April Accelerator, and a lot of people have been asking, and I will get to it. I've been evacuated. So we're going to get to all of it and just like crush April together. And more than that, we're going to crush April of 2024 together. That is what we're really doing. And another shout out on this issue of culture. Let's be thinking about the message of how we're going to have a giant culture shift in this whole Eat Like a Bear community on the question of like looking forward, looking to like the big goal, and like shame. We don't worry about that. Like all those negative things, we don't even do that. There's no place in here in our minds, because we've filled our minds up with our positive views of the future. There's no other play as far as I'm concerned. So, and I just want to give a shout out. Georgia Baker was here and in the comments. And so Georgia is surely going to join us on video one time. Maybe, you know, I'd be curious if she would have come naked with the rest of us, I wonder.
Yeah.
I have to share this.
Yeah, I saw that earlier and I thought, uh-oh.
So funny. We had a question about Fat Mama Creek.
Oh,
You know?
okay. So two things. One is years ago, so we have this little seasonal creek bed on our property that really rarely flows because there's ranchers upstream that capture the water. So very rarely flows. And years ago, we named it Fat Mama Creek. And so then I've done a couple of vlogs or something on this channel. So you can probably like search this channel for Fat Mama Creek and find them, where I talk about, there's one where I'm like, it's actually kind of an emotional video, because some of the things as we've worked on that area of the property that we kind of discovered that we had on the property were things that I had always wanted, but I didn't even know they were there, and I couldn't even get to that area of the property. And so it's very emotional. And, emphasizing that whole point of like, you had it all along, and now, and now I've just discovered it. But also I say in it that I mentioned that it's called Fat Mama Creek. And I say, like, with pride, that this was named for me, in those days. And because to me, it's like, yeah, I was fat. I mean, I feel like there's plenty of evidence about that. And I'm not ashamed that I was. In fact, I'm really pretty proud of myself in those days that I stayed so focused and made such good decisions. And so I really honor myself in those times. And so I didn't say talk about Fat Mama Creek from a place of any kind of shame or anything. It was almost more like celebration. But I'm going to answer the question about how it's doing. But I'm going to say that I've gotten a lot of comments like, you should rename it. You should rename it. And I felt like that was kind of wrong, because it's like, I'm not going to rename it out of shame, because I don't feel shame about it at all. And I mean, I just think it's kind of ironic. I think it's kind of funny. But it's funny. I was down there, I don't know, 6 months or a year ago, and working in it, and somehow thinking about like the name Fat Mama Creek, and thinking like, I wouldn't change the name of this, and same, like I'm saying here, like, because I'm not ashamed of this. And I just got like this little like word, like when something pops in your mind, and I felt like the creek was telling me that maybe the creek wanted a different name. So I'm open to that, and we might need to name it something, maybe something with bear in it. I don't know, or something like that's related to the giant sequoias, maybe that we lost. That you can.
Well, you are the mama bear. Why don't you call it
Yeah.
Mama Creek?
Or how about awesome Mama Creek?
Yes. Well, and so the creek, which never runs, it's shocking. It's really shocking how much water is running down there. I had some cushions that I kept down there. And I was so proud. In January, there was a shocking amount of water down there, but I'm like, oh, look at me. I was smart and I put the cushions up there, so they were there in January, and I'm sure they're not there. And so, they're down in like Central California somewhere, probably not. There's culverts or whatever they'd have to go through, but Lord knows where the cushions are. I'm sure they're not down there anymore, because that's how high the water got, really, really high in the storm of like Friday and Saturday. So Fat Mama Creek is in full force, but Fat Mama Creek's angry, alive, maybe wanting a new name. I don't know. No, I don't know. Yeah, maybe we should rename it. I don't think it has a name, like officially from like whoever names these things. And I've wondered if we have enough like clout to actually get in an official name. Maybe.
I think you should name it Triumphant.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like maybe it's a one-word name.
And
We'll think
so
about it.
one funny detail is the main grove that I think about when I think about this creek, because as I'm walking down the creek, there's a view of the grove. We have line of sight to the grove, and it's got 3 trees with life signs, or maybe 4, but only one with any kind of fluff on it. Like the other is like 3 of them have like a branch, and I can't imagine they're making it. And even the main one that has a good bit of leaf matter still on it is severely damaged, and a lot of those don't make it, like in 5 years from the fire. And so that's all that's left of the grove that you can see as you're walking down to Fat Mama Creek. So I thought about naming it after that grove, but you guys want to know some irony? Do you know what that grove is called? The Starvation Grove of Giant Sequoias.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like that doesn't really move the eat like a bear message super well.
What if you named it Bootstrap Creek?
Yeah.
Ooh, that has a nice ring to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it totally fits the local culture. The stuff, the stories that are coming out, like the whole area was cut off from transportation for a couple of days, but there's a couple areas tucked back that are going to be really cut off maybe for a while. And so they installed a zip line, and they're passing like, bottled water on the zip line, like putting this basket on the zip line and going across. So they're doing this. It's very cowboy. It's pretty impressive.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, let me look at comments, but oh wow, there's a lot of comments. Hey everybody, glad y'all are here. Oh my gosh. Oh, and so Sherry's new. Let's see, my first time at this live. What a great experience. I'm at work, so this is kind of amazing. Yeah. So Sherry, when you go back to the beginning, that maybe is a not at work. That's where we do our naked bologna. Oh, that is hilarious. Okay, I need mine. I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Very good. Yeah. Welcome, Sherry. You never know what you're going to find on YouTube, Sherry. Okay. And so, and Victoria, hello. And Tammy likes the bootstrap name. Awesome. Ooh, Faith.
Faith.
Restoration Creek.
Oh,
Oh,
Hmm.
yeah, that's a good one.
that is a good one.
Because that would be good for everything.
You should put some of these ideas in a poll on Facebook and have.
Oh, that's a great idea. Well, there's a lot of people saying Mama Bear Creek, but then so super sassy among us would be this one.
Hot Mama.
How about Naked Mama?
Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Bobby says Bear Mama Creek. And of course, Bear, maybe,
BARE.
Oh my gosh.
Bear Mama Creek.
Oh,
This is how we get ourselves into trouble. Just like this.
Oh,
Don't you want to become a part of this?
Oh my gosh.
And this is funny too, because really we're just like a bunch of grandmas, and I mean, Anna and I are not grandmas yet, but it's possibly close.
I'm a dog grandma and
I'm
a cat
great
grandma.
grandmother. A week old great grandmother.
Congratulations. That's so awesome.
Yeah, I know I don't look that old, but I am.
That's really so. Congratulations, Judy. And it's interesting because I was a late mother, and you don't really think about it when you're younger or whatever, like the implications of being a later in life mother. Now we should all be mothers whenever we're going to be mothers, but starting sooner, and then wow, grandchildren, and then great grandchildren. So that is just wonderful, and what a amazing prolific family. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, y'all got to see my grandchildren traipsing behind me a minute ago.
Yes, they traipsed very well.
Yes, they did.
It's spring
kept
break.
on moving.
They're all here.
So, by the way, something I posted on Facebook yesterday got flagged for being indecent.
No.
I've got to watch that Calendar Girls movie again.
So here's what we should do. So we're going off. It looks like I checked the weather about 2 hours ago, and rains were not as bad in our area. So that's good for the flooding, but it's still been really, really bad. It's bad, all over the place, especially in the West. And, lots of things are happening in life. And so I'm going to tell you all what I'm going to do today, which is outrageous, but you all should join me. Like we can join together distantly. And I'm going to go watch Cocaine Bear.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I feel like being like a child of the Jaws era. I was born for this Cocaine Bear moment. I do feel like if our community was bigger or more well-known when Cocaine Bear came out, we would be the obvious people who they would contact to help them market it.
That's right.
Having both had like that Jaws experience. And so, because Cocaine Bear appears that it's like super campy, kind of like Jaws was, except Jaws was also terrifying. And I imagine Cocaine Bear has that too, because it's based on a true story. And it's this bear that, so it's like a drug cartel plane that crashes in Texas or someplace. And the drugs, the cocaine is like then, scattered about or whatever, like it's little things are out there in the wilderness and a bear eats it. And then the story continues of a super drugged high bear. And so that's where that's where it ends up being Jaws like. Okay, let's see. Lori Beth, my best weight is the weight with no limits on adventure. Yes, I skied without pain for 6 days in a row. No pain. What amazing. I could not climb one flight of stairs in July of 2020. And you guys, you should be following Lori Beth's photos because it is extraordinary. And the skiing, and we're seeing Lori Beth just like skiing all over the place. It's amazing. All right. Thanks for that report, Lori Beth, and checking in. But even Lori Beth, so I'm going to be asking you, Lori Beth, you too. What are you doing in a year from now? Because we're all going to raise that, everything up just a little bit. 1 year from now. So start thinking now about as we ramp up, and we're talking about April of 2024. Okay. We're going to be talking about that. Specifically April 8th of 2024 as a little clue about what part of all this. And we're setting goals that we're going to, shoot for on April 8th of 2024 together. Okay. All of our community is looking out 1 year together. Okay. Okay. And Jan is, I'll be great end of summer. Jan, you're already great.
Yeah.
You're already great. And with all of our big goals, the big thing is that you start living in it the best way you can right now. And if that's like on a hospital bed with a movie, that is, a movie about that thing, about the paddleboarding or whatever it is, then that is where you're starting. So absolutely. Okay. I'm excited about a year from now. Just looking at comments. Any other comments, ladies, who are on here and naked or clothed?
No,
1 year from now.
Closer to me, Amanda, I might plan a trip down the hill.
1 year from now, I'm going to be zip lining, and something that was just on the den posted. I'm going to try parasailing.
Ooh.
Got to work on your upper arm strength.
I'm going to be buying new clothes for my trip to France in July of 2024.
Oh, wow.
You want to come with me? I'm going to go with a bunch of my closest and bestest friends from all over the world.
Sounds amazing.
Really? So how are you planning that? How are you coordinating?
The choral group that I sing with has been invited to sing in Paris and Normandy, along with other choruses from other places. And so I need to get myself healthy, wealthy, and wise so that somebody doesn't have to push me around in a wheelchair, that I can be in front of the parade, leading the parade.
Good job.
Getting myself physically fit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I love it, Judy. I love it. Okay. Well, so you got to join us in 2 or 3 weeks or whenever it is, because oh my gosh, that's, leading the parade. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Because you're not just going to the parade, Judy.
I'm hoping I'll be leading it. Here's the scary part. I'll almost be 79 years old at that point.
Oh, Judy, wow.
So
that's amazing.
That's because nobody told me what 77 was going to be like. So I don't know what 79 is going to be like either.
There you go. Who knows?
I have two choices. I can either be that age or I cannot be that age. And I won't be leading the parade if I'm not that age.
So true.
That's right.
You're already wise, Judy.
Wise beyond my years.
Oh, this has been awesome.
Yep.
And so Lynn is off to work. Lynn, thank you for coming. And Lynn is working on her aspirations as well. And so I just want to, this is so repetitive, but everybody's working on them for 1 year from now. And in 2 or 3 weeks, we'll come back here and we'll probably be wearing clothing. And to be determined.
No. Please. And that's no baloney. It's the naked truth.
That's the naked truth.
The bare naked truth. Oh my gosh.
I can't even breathe anymore. Okay, you guys.
I know.
Oh, how did we do this for 5.5 hours last week?
Very
I don't
easily.
know. Yeah, it really was fun.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And you
It's
didn't
different
have
when
me
you're doing it
button
by
in.
yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Together we achieve.
I love this format. I love it. I come away from here energized. This is so awesome. And so it's kind of funny because, like all the tech of all this stuff, I drown in tech all the time, and it's it's a killjoy. But needing to go 5 hours and thinking, how are we going to do that? And then here we are, and it's great. This is better than ever, like push through it, better than ever. Hey, Brenda.
Bear Creek. Bear Creek. Bear Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah, for short, it could be BB Creek. Oh.
Oh
Well,
my
I don't
goodness.
know if anybody else, if they're going to the project hubs, but I will be there because I'm going to take a walk. So if anybody wants to take a walk with me in the project hub, I'll see you there in a few minutes.
I'm going to have more coffee during the project hub, so
That's
I
a
will
good idea.
see all of you guys later. Thanks for the laughs.
Okay.
And I too will be off having coffee somewhere. I have no idea, but coffee as well.
I'll
So
be doing my next dragon.
Ah, that's
Yay.
awesome.
I'll
That
be
is
putting
so
some
cool.
shoes on. My feet are cold.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. And are you doing good on hydrating today, Judy? Make sure you get in.
I'm doing
fluid.
better. It's time for me to replenish my supplies.
Yep.
Yes, you
All
go
right.
for it.
Okay.
Bye.
So Amanda, thank you again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you guys for coming on, naked or clothed. And thanks everyone for coming and watching. This has been fun. Okay. I'll see y'all. We'll see you next time for sure in either 2 to 3 weeks. One of those, I'll let y'all know. So we'll have it up here. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.